Hi, welcome to another episode of Hot Takes. Former MSP and indeed SNP Minister Alex Neil has spoken out about the SNP and says it is in serious trouble. He says the general election, returning just 9 MPs, and none of which were below the level of Sterling, shows that the people have fallen out of love with the party. They are not as popular. They are embroiled, he says, in so many scandals that people are rejecting them. And of course, at the moment, we've got branch form, which is still nowhere near completion by the seam of it. There's Operation Coper, whether or not Sturgeon and Freeman were involved with the murder of 10,000 plus elderly people. There's a general malaise, he says, across the entire party. It's as though they're giving up. He says the politicians talk a good game, but they're not delivering. He says, and unless they buck their ideas up and actually deliver on some of the things they promise, then it's all over. Now, this guy who used to be the MSP for, I think it was Adrian Schatz, correct me if I'm wrong, he of course, is no stranger to trouble himself, so he knows where he speaks from, and he's saying that it's just one of those things that it's malaise heaped upon malaise, heaped upon malaise. He says there's a whole string of things, one after another. It's like a little train. He says, and unless they break this habit of failure, and unless they get themselves under control and clamp down and stop any further sort of bad news events from happening, then the party's doomed. I'm glad. I don't particularly like Alex Neil. I mean, I don't think he's an evil man or anything. I just don't like his politics or anything. But I'm going to give him a little tip hat, a little well done, Alex, because you're actually looking at the real situation. You're actually seeing what we see. You're looking at it from the inside looking out. But no one else in your party does that. I think you're the first one to admit that there are problems. And so if you can convince the people around you, the politicians, the activists, your supporters, that things are going awry, that there are a whole string of scandals that need to be sorted out, then maybe just they can start addressing those instead of blithely going on with the continued destruction of Scotland. Ultimately, it's a party matter. It's up to you. It's up to your party. But until you get it under control, then the SNP are just going to crumble into dust. No one will mourn, you know that. There won't be many tears shed if they do. But it's a party destined to destroy itself. You've just seen another civil war almost with the whole of the Stephen Flynn debacle. That should have been clamped down day one. Swinney should have been straight on that and said, no, day one, show himself to be a leader. He didn't, because he isn't. Swinney is not a leader. He's just someone caretaking the big seat until it's finally taken over by a true leader. And the more we see of Flynn, the more you realise he's not a leader either. I think it's going to be an interesting 18 months between now and the Holyrood election. We'll keep an eye on them. But thanks for watching. Speak soon. Goodbye.